I would say 3-Bit Noted, and you watching Bit Noted TV, and I am back with another vid. Hey, as you can see by the title, man, we talking about the Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford fight. It was a masterclass in session, and also a beating at the same time, man. That was bad, man. I'm pretty much lost for words right now. I didn't think it would be that lopsided, that one-sided. My initial thoughts on this fight was because I had no horse in the race. I haven't seen any of those guys fight prior to this fight. I just watched highlights and I watched them fight, on YouTube, full fights. I watched both of them fight Kell Brooks and both of them fight Sean Porter, right? And it just looked like, so we're going to go into today's fight, Spence versus Crawford. It just looked like Spence wasn't ready. He was extra slower. We already knew Bud was the more talented person and the most athletic person in the ring. But it looked like I didn't know it would be that bad. I think Spence was on an 18-month layoff, and that pretty much showed. It was a masterclass, man. The hand speed was the biggest factor, and the foot speed. I think after the first round, Bud realized that that Spence couldn't even get out of the way of his jab, and that jab was touching Spence, and it was doing damage to Spence, and Spence was not ready for that jab to be like that. Spence looked okay in the first round, but after that, it was all Bud, and it wasn't whooping. It was he took the belt off.
I'm about to take my belt off then.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna do it. Errol,
You don't need more than the belt. I don't know what you talking about. I ain't one of your kids.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
treat
need
you.
more than the belt. I ain't one of your kids.
I'm gonna treat you like one.
Yeah, all right, we gonna see.
All right, we definitely gonna see.
We definitely gonna see.
And he whooped him. He whooped on him. And I even think he let up a little bit because he had respect for Errol. He even daps him and checks on him, I think, after the 7th round, after he knocks him down like twice.
He gets countered with,
which was telling. I think he kind of let up on Errol, and I think, to me personally, I don't want to see Errol fight again, man. Errol needs to hang it up. It's not going to get better from here at 154. It's just going to be worse, and the mystique, the aura is done. Nobody's going to, you're going to have to you're going to have to beat on somebody like Bud did you to earn these fighters' respect back, and there's nothing else to prove. He's been through a lot, and I think he just needs to just give it up because he looks like a broken fighter after this one fight, and sky's the limit for Bud, which we all already knew. Bud can stay at 147, but he said it's kind of hard for him to make that weight, or he could probably go up to 154, and challenge some of those bigger guys, and I think Bud will do excellent. He's an excellent fighter. He got the heart of a champion. He was very, very respectful after the fight, man. That'd have been me, boy. I'd have been going crazy, talking so much trash. But I feel him, man. He had respect for Errol, and Errol had a lot of class too at the end of the fight to sit there and deal with the stoppage and the stoppage being to that magnitude, to that nature. And it was opposite of what Spence said was going to happen to Bud. It was completely Bud taking his will and breaking him. And I believe after today's fight, Spence is a broken fighter. There's almost no coming back from that. I might be prisoner of the moment and taking it a little bit too far, but I'm usually pretty good at seeing these things. And so let's go back So my initial pick was Spence because I didn't have, I never seen these guys. And I was like, oh, Spence has that capability of stalking somebody and breaking their will. But this is boxing. It's not called break a nigga will. You know what I'm saying? It's called boxing. And Bud was clearly the better boxer going into the fight, which we all can see. He was better at backing up and fighting, which he didn't lead. I mean, he didn't have to back up. Like I said in my prediction video, if you lead the dance versus Spence, you're doing a hell of a job. And Bud, after the second round, pretty much led the whole fight. He led the dance. Spence was standing on his feet, and Bud was just walking him around. And I don't even think he ever switched to orthodox. He went straight southpaw. You know what I'm saying? He went straight like jab with the right jab with the right hand, and that jab was sticking. He was popping the shit out of Errol Spence with that jab, man. Errol Spence has never seen a jab like that a day in his life. He's never felt a jab like that a day in his life. It was coming warp speed and with thunder. He could, and once he sat him that first time with that flash knockdown, because Spence leans too much trying to throw that left. He was trying to throw the left to the body, leaning, and Bud just like pushed him a little bit and hit him with the right jab right over the top, and it was over. His confidence was wavering after that. Spence came out okay in the third for a couple of seconds, and then after he got rocked a couple of times, he knew it was over because Bud started to sit on punches. Bud wasn't even flinching or he wasn't going back at all, because that's what type of fighter these two guys were coming into the fight. And Bud just proved during the fight that, like Spence said, he was the better man. But I think 10 times out of 10 times he was going to be the better man. He's just the talent. Sometimes talent and hard work is going to beat skill, and hard work, because he does have a skill, of course, and he's the most talented person probably in the building, and in boxing. So it's gonna be hard to beat a Bud Crawford, man. So shouts out to Bud though, man. I had Bud for the majority of the time after I initially picked Spence. I watched the tape. I picked Spence for like a couple of days. This is way back when they announced the fight. Then I had Bud leading all the way to the fight. And then my mind said, when I fucking around and listened to Floyd Mayweather say Spence gave him a hell of a run in a sparring contest 10 years ago, man. And that's what threw me off from my knowing that Bud was going to outbox him. But nobody seen this coming. If you seen this coming, you a fucking lie. You know what I'm saying? So shouts out to Errol Spence though, man. I just don't. You shouldn't go out like that, Errol. It's over, man. You did a hell of a job. You're a hell of a champion. You got hella heart. There's nothing else to prove. Shouts out to Bud too, man. It's A3 Ben Noted, and you watching Ben Noted TV. Hey, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, man. I'm doing a lot of goddamn work, and y'all not hitting the like button, man. Subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment, man. Let me know how I'm doing. It's A3 Ben Noted, man. Alright.